We proceed with the bank reconciliation statement, and now today we have our first example. Let's look at this example carefully and pay attention, extremely attention to this, conversation, so that once you understand this, then you can be fine later on. Okay, so now check. You have been provided with the cash book and the bank statement for the year 2021. Okay. You have the bank columns in the cash book for the year May 2021 and the bank statement. Yeah. So now what has happened is that you are given the cash book, and at the same time you have been provided with the bank statement. So it is extremely important. So it is very, very important that you pay attention to what I am saying. So in the times when you are provided with a cash book and the bank statement, last time I told you that this cash book that you have been provided with does not have all the details that need to be there. It has got some missing information. And the only way to have that missing information is to do what? Is to ask for the bank statement. So when you check on the bank statement will tell you what is missing on the what is missing in the cash book. So this cash book that we have is not updated. Okay, it is not updated. It doesn't have some information. Some information is missing. So how can we update this cash book? You have to go to the bank statement and get some information which is missing and add it here. That is very important. So now, for you to draw up the bank reconciliation statement, the first thing that you have to do, number one, is to update the cash book. Update the what? The cash book. Then two, draw up the bank reconciliation statement. Okay, the BRS, the bank reconciliation statement. That's what you're supposed to do. So number one, we are supposed to update this this cash book. That is what we are going to do. So how do we update the cash book? That's the question. Follow nicely. The cash book is updated in such a way that you understand that get this point. The debit side of the cash book corresponds to the credit side of the of the bank statement. And again, the credit side of the cash book corresponds to the debit side of the bank statement. That's the first thing to learn. I repeat, we're not going to repeat such a conversation even when we come for physical classes, so pay attention. I am saying that number one, the debit side of the bank statement is equivalent to the credit side of the cash book, and the debit side of the cash book should be equal to the credit side of the bank statement, just like the way how I have drawn. So when you are updating the cash book, listen to me carefully. You are going to repeat all these transactions to start with, all the transactions that are already there in the cash book, because to update the cash book simply means adding what is not there, right? So first of all, you're going to repeat all what is there in the cash book. Let's start from updating the debit side of the cash book. So you repeat all these transactions on the debit side of the cash book. Then you will check the transactions that are not on the debit side of the cash book, but are on the bank on the bank statement. I repeat. Repeat or rewrite all the details that are on the on the cash book, and then add what is missing to the debit side of the cash book. How do you know what is missing? Check. There are some transactions that are already there. For example, If you check 720, this 720 for 8 May is already here, right? 685 for May 17 is already here. 372 for May 29 is already here. So what is missing, what is not there on the cash book is just the what? Is just this trade transfer. Right? This trade transfer. The transfer is not there in the cash book, which means our accountants were not aware until they received the cash book, the bank statement. So you have to get this amount and add it to the debit side of the cash book. Simple. Is that clear? Get the amount, the 85, with its own details, and paste that transaction on the debit side of the cash book. That is what we are doing. Then, when we want to update the credit side of the cash book, we'll compare the records that we have in the cash. First of all, we'll repeat everything on the credit side of the cash book, apart from the credit, what is the balance carried down. That one you don't have to include it. Just have to end there. For example, on the 30th May. Okay, then you start adding what is missing. So check what we already have, comparing these records. What is missing? Okay, what is missing to the credit side of the cash book? Have you seen that it's 220 is missing, right? Yeah, 220 is missing, is not there on the credit side of the cash book. What about 450? 454 is there, isn't it? Yeah, 454 is already there. So we already have this record. 38 is already there. We already have this record. Yeah, what is missing? Okay, what is missing is the standing order. Is that clear? What is missing is the standing order. 63 is not there in our cash book. And from what I explained last time about the standing order, you remember that a standing order is an instruction that is left at the bank. It's an instruction that you leave at the bank, that the bank should be settling some accounts at an agreed date. Okay. So that means that the bank does not necessarily need to consult from you. Okay. It doesn't need to consult from you, but they just pay the account. So what is showing here is that the bank paid the standing order. And now you have just realized that that payment was done because you have received the bank statement. And the other thing, which other transaction is missing on the cash book? Which other transaction is missing on the cash book? Hello? It's evident you can see the cash book. We want to check what is not there on the cash book. All right, thank you. Bank charges. Have you seen that the bank charges are missing? Yeah, so you have to add them on the credit side. And there is also this 220. So that's how you update the cash book. So you get all these transactions that are missing, add them to the credit side, and you do the same for the debit side. Get all these transactions that are missing, add them to the credit side, to the debit side of the cash book. Then you balance off the cash book. So in summary, updating the cash book simply means adding what is not there in the cash book. Is that clear? I want you to pay attention and follow nicely. What does it mean to update the cash book? Updating the cash book simply means adding what is missing in the cash book. Is that clear? Is the class able to hear me? Or does the class have any questions? You guys, do you have any questions? You don't have any questions? Okay, let's update the cash book. How do you update the cash book? You got to repeat, first of all, you got to repeat everything that is already there in the cash book. Let's start. I'll just do it on here, right here. Are you able to see what I am writing in red? Red marker, you can see the red marker, you guys. So let's call this the credit what? The credit side, this is the debit, okay, side of the cash book. And first of all, I told you to repeat exactly what is already recorded in the cash book. Okay, you repeat exactly what is recorded. We can even have the dates. So on one, we have the balance what? We have the balance brought down. It is 3250. Okay. Then on the 8th, we have a check by Chawans. It is 720. We're repeating what is there on the debit side. 17th, we have Mwewa, and this is 685. And on 29, you have a check by this guy, and it is 372. Write down 372. And then on the 31st, you have a check by this guy, Kole Onisha. It is 582. So far, are we clear up to here? We are just repeating what is there. I'm showing you how to update the cash book. Are you fine up to here? Hello?
So you just repeat everything you wrote in the old cash book and then put the things from the bank statement into the cash book again. That's it.
Yes. First repeat what was there, and then add what is missing. So up to here, we are done repeating on the debit side. Are we clear here? Are we all fine up to here? Okay. Assuming that you guys are following now, what we are going to do now is to add what is missing. What is missing on the debit side of the cash book? You compare the debit side with the credit side, I told you. Which transaction is missing? Anyone? Which transaction is missing? Right. The bank charges, right? They are for 31st May. So write that one. Bank what? Bank charges. And the amount is 85. Simple. Is that clear now? Let's go to the credit side of the cash book and update it. We go to the credit side. To the credit side, you start repeating. We had on the 6th of May, we had a check by Chola. This was 165, right? And we had another one on 13th from Shimba, and this was 454. And then on the 17th, we had another check from Mkolima, That was 38. And then on the 30th, you had another check from Temwan, and that was 44. Okay? Then you end here. You don't add the balance carried down. So add what is missing. So I told you that the credit side of the cash book is corresponding to the what? To the debit side. Now, check on the debit side. What is missing? Anybody? All right. Aris said there is a check on the 9th. It was missing. Okay. There is a missing check of this guy, and it is 220. What else? Oh, we have the standing order. Thank you. On the 30th, we have a what? A standing order. A standing order of 63. What else again is missing on our credit side? Oh, Uncle Idris says bank charges. On 31st, we have bank what? Bank charges. They are equal to 52. Is that clear? So far, you guys, are you following? You know, it's a very good privilege to be taught by the best. And we have to take everything very serious. When you are being taught by the best, you have to get very good grades. So this is what is there. So what do you do next from here? You have to balance off this account. Now, before we start balancing off the account, let me find out if anyone has a question. Is there anyone who has a question? Okay, let's balance off the account. You have to add both the credit side and the debit side, and then you check which one is the biggest amount. Let's start by adding on the debit side. Let's add. What is 3250 plus 720 plus 685 plus 372 plus 582 plus 85? Consolidate them, add them together, and give us what it gives you. What do you find? Hello? You guys are home and you have calculators. Can you be calculating? Everyone calculate. Just sum up the debit side. Eh? It's easy. Sum up the debit side, or you're in brackets. Okay, 61. Muhammad says 6194. Thank you. That is from Muhammad. Anyone else? You have to wake up from the brackets and start solving. Sit down somewhere. Can't be attending class and you are in brackets. Who does that? 6, 8, 5. Hash says he finds the same thing. Right? We will need another one to confirm. You guys are not punching your calculator. 3250 plus 720 plus 685 plus 372 plus 582 plus 85. What does it give you? You can't be finding wrong answers together if you're all doing what I'm sending you to do. I'll now call for names so that people can share with us what they are finding. I'll call out the names to give us, that people may give us what they are finding. We want to get people calculating. Aris, what are you finding?
$6,194.
Okay. Aisha Patel, what are you finding? What do you find? Idris, what are you finding? You guys are not punching your calculators correctly. I mean, 3250 plus 720 plus 685 plus 372 plus 582 plus 85. What are you finding? Someone has found 5694. Uncle Zaid. 5694. Okay. Anyone who is confirming with him? All right. So it is 5694. There is no way how two people can find the wrong answers unless one of you didn't calculate, just guessed. Anyway, let's go to the credit side and calculate as well. What do you find on the credit side? 165 plus 454 plus 38 plus 44 plus 220 plus 63 plus 52. That is equal to. What are you finding? Let's do this quickly. What are you finding? $10.36. Right. So we can see that this is the biggest amount. 5694. So write it on both sides. 5694. Right? We record it on both sides. And then we deduct to find the balance carried down. What is the balance carried down on the other side? You say 5694 minus 1036. What are you finding as the balance carried down? $46.58. 4658. Simple. And the same shall be written as on 1 June as the balance what? Brought down 4658. This is the most important figure that you need. 4658. Okay, 4658. Keep that figure 4658. That's the value that you need. So we have updated the cash book. This is an updated cash book. Now we need to draw a bank reconciliation statement. It's very easy to draw a bank reconciliation statement. These are the two ways of drawing a bank reconciliation statement. I told you last time. You can either start with the balance per updated what? Cash book, isn't it? Let's start with this one. Balance per updated cash book. Balance per updated cash book. Balance per CB. How much do you find? The balance of the updated cash book was 4658, isn't it? Was that what you found? Then you have to add unpresented checks. Add unpresented checks. Now, how do we find unpresented checks? That's our question. How do we find unpresented checks? Unpresented checks simply means the checks that you credited as a business. Remember, you sent out those checks to your customers, or sorry, to your suppliers, but they have not yet given them to the bank. So how do you find the unpresented checks? You find them on the what? On the cash book here. So how you find unpresented checks? Check for the figures that are on the cash book, but not there on the what? On the bank statement. The figures that are missing on the bank statement. So it's more like the opposite of updating the cash book. What figures are those that are missing on the bank statement? For them to miss on the bank statement simply means the bank is not aware. What are they? Yeah, 165. There is 165 plus what? What else is missing? Oh, 44. Yeah, 44 plus 44. Add them together. What does that give you? 209. You can add together. What do you get when you add these two? What's the total? Please, what is 4658 plus 209? Simple. Okay, 4867. Then from here you less uncredited checks. And what? Uncredited checks. How do you less the uncredited checks? Uncredited checks are found on the what? On the cash book, the debit side. So we are looking for the figures that are on the debit side of the cash book, but not there on the bank statement. What are they? They are there on the debit side of the cash book, but not on the bank statement. What figures are those? Okay, so 372 is missing. What else is missing? 720 is there. 582. Thank you. 582. Add them together. What do you find? 372 plus 582. What do you find? 372 plus 582. What do you find? $954. 372 plus 582. You find 954. Okay. Then what we are going to end with is the balance per bank statement. That's what we said. You end with the balance per what? Per bank statement. And what do you end with? 48? 67.
Good morning, David. I have.
You guys, you're not doing the right thing.
3913.
Okay. Wait, let me say 165 plus 44209. 246 58 minus 209. This is a different figure. You guys are failing to say 4658 minus 209. The figure is 4449. Okay. Less 954. Okay. 720 is already there. 685 is there. 372. Are you? 372 is here as well. So what is just missing is 5. It is just 585, not everything. It's just 5. And credit check is made up of 585. 585. 582, sorry. 582. So less 582. 4449 minus 582.
3867.
3867. Okay. Oh, 6. Plus 209. 40. 4867. Then minus 582. Yeah, 4285. Yes, it's now agreeing, which is the balance of the what? Of the bank statement. So this is how you do it. So your work to do is to try to use the other way, that method too of balancing, where you start with the balance per bank statement, and you should end up with the balance per updated cash book. That's what you're going to do. So basically, this is what you're expected of doing. Before you leave the class, let me get the register, then you go.